coming up in the next few months here, Pennsylvania has you as their one book for every child artist. How did that happen?
Well, from what I understand, my editor happened to be at a conference and met one of the librarians from Pennsylvania, and they were talking about the Pennsylvania One Book Program, and my editor suggested that she might have a book they would be interested in, and presented it. And we were very, very fortunate that they loved the book and chose it among the ones that they had to choose from. It's an exciting thing for us. My wife is the author of this book, as you know, and it addresses, a younger audience for us. We all know children love penguins, and this book is an attempt to be humorous, but also bring a sense of natural science and history in as much as we've featured 10 out of the 17 species in a somewhat realistic form, so you can identify all the penguins. And it's going to be interesting. We'll be on the road for about 3 weeks this spring, visiting daycare centers and Head Start programs. So we're looking forward to it.
And you'll be in Pennsylvania in that time, you mean?
Yes, we'll be visiting, from what I understand, all the four corners and in between.
Great, that's great. And what are you working on right now?
Well, I have a new book coming out with astronaut Buzz Aldrin called Look to the Stars, which is basically aimed at a grade school audience. And in 40 pages, we take you from Galileo and Copernicus all the way to Mars. It's an exciting project in as much as this is the 40th anniversary year of the first moon landing. And historians will note that it was Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin to be the first two men on the moon.
What do you think, out of all your 2,000 works that you've worked on, do you have a couple of favorites that you're really proud of?
Yeah, number one comes to mind, the paperback edition of Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. My painting has been on that paperback cover for over 20 years now.
Wow.
And I think virtually every junior high school student who studies that book is familiar with that painting.
And then recently, the Junior Dispatch did a sequence on Abraham Lincoln.
Yes.
And you have a book called Abraham Lincoln Comes Home. Can you tell us about that?
Well, Robert Burley is a good friend of mine, and we were talking about the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln coming up, and this was a few years ago, and we thought, well, what can we do that hasn't been done before with Lincoln? There are something like 14,000 volumes on Lincoln. Virtually every aspect of his life has been covered in. And Bob discovered that there's very little known about the Lincoln funeral train. It was not all that well documented, even in its day. And Bob came up with the idea of having a father and son go to meet that train, as millions of Americans did on that 1,660-mile journey that took 13 days.
And then, lastly, the other book that you have is The Wolves Are Back. How is that?
It's done very well, and it is part of a series. The Wolves Are Back. I am now completing paintings for a book called The Buffalo Are Back, and then there'll be a third in that series called The Eagles Are Back. Jean Craig George is a very good friend, one of the best, if not the best, nature writer of her generation. She has over 100 books in print, and she has introduced the natural world to 3 generations now of young readers. And we toured Yellowstone National Park, went to the Lamar Valley. This is a story about how wolves were reintroduced back into Yellowstone back in 1995 with a small group of wolves that has now expanded to several packs, and how they've restored the ecology of that entire valley.
All right. I guess that is all.
So let me know if there's anything else you need.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Wendell. Have a great day.